Howdy, 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 everyone. And, hey, Dan and ReyeMe are here to join the fun. Once again, I am back from another unscheduled hiatus to react to more goings-ons in the Sega Saturn homebrew community. Before we properly get started, maybe, it would be good to start doing a little bit of plug stuff, alright? So let's plug some stuff. And normally I would kick a song out for having lyrics in it, but Knuckles is cool, so we will just skip to something that isn't that. There we go. Everyone likes that one, right? Greetings, Destroy Ball. I recognize your name, but I haven't seen you in chat before. You're in Shiro, right? No, wait. I don't know why. I recognize your name from somewhere. Anyway. Right. Anyway, so let's plug a few things before we get started on the Joe Engine. Not a review, kind of like a reaction. There is a reaction channel now. You're watching reaction content. So, first off, everyone, as always, please visit emeraldnovagames.com, if for no other reason than to make this number go up, but also because the 30th anniversary competition is ongoing. I believe, let's see, I finally fixed this. It is in the correct dates, the correct years, and even some correct times. Entries are still being accepted until just a little over a month from now. So, yeah, everyone go ahead and, yeah, let me see. Yeah, if anything here strikes you as a source of inspiration or what have you, go ahead, try to make a game. I recommend Joe Engine for a new, for a beginner or someone that's new to Saturn development. It's a good way to not only get used to the C language if you're not caught up on C, but also to get used to the Saturn hardware paradigm, which is intentionally awful, I believe. I don't know that maybe it was intentionally at all levels, but at some point someone sat down and said, hey, let's make the developers' lives as difficult as possible. Yeah. I'm honestly considering at some point just completely going over to Godot because of how all the nonsense going on. We're just trying to get a draw call properly that I want on Saturn. Anyway, just a few days under a month to submit your entry, and I will show you everything you probably need to get a game up and running in Joe Engine today, hopefully. The judges will then have a month to judge all the rankings, or all the entries. So far, I believe we have six entries, last time I checked, about a week ago or so. Usually all the entries come in last minute. And like I said, a month ago, so that's plenty of time to get something together. My first entry in this competition 5 or 6 years ago was Forsaken Plain, which, if you go onto my website and go into the game section, you can go try out for yourself. And that took me about 5 days with some help. Pona was a big help on that one, if I recall correctly. Once again, that's it, guys, is going to be 3D printing selections of Sega-related stuff for the cash ranking winners. The cash, so this pool is about to be updated because I finally am getting all of the shipping set up from previous years. So the shipping rollover, is the shipping rollover on here? Oh, yeah. So the shipping rollover might change a little bit, but otherwise the cash prize is basically about 850. It's going to be split up between the top 7 ranks in original game category, where I try to put an entry in every year if I can. Hacks, patches, and translations, by far the most popular category to contribute to the entries. There are usually the ones that get the most press and the most play. Especially, I've taken to putting Saturn homebrew in a lot of conventions. I attend MegaCon regularly. I went to PRG recently with the Shiro crew. That was fun, and people got to play in real time a lot of the in-progress hacks, patches, and translations builds from some community members of Sega Extreme. So if you guys have any conventions in the Southwest or something that might line up well enough with my schedule, let me know. I'd be happy to try to help get some Sega Extreme homebrew set up so you guys can see some preview builds of some fun stuff, and also so I can come say hi. I love promoting the Sega Extreme work product and community. Oh yeah, the top 3 utilities. We do already have a utility entry this year. They haven't posted on the forum yet, so I'm not going to spoil it, but it is a very exciting utility. Looks like it's going to be very useful. And so I'll let you guys figure out what that is in about a month from now, or maybe 2 months if they're intent on not. Crap! I just said I updated the dates, and all these dates are wrong. I'll fix that after stream. Anyway, last bit of plug before we go on to Joe Engine. Here are the judges that are judging this year's competition. Once again, Supreme Court Saturn, nine judges. Cerbero, we got Sound Retro coming back. David Jimenez coming back. New to this year, G to the Next Level. He does a lot of Sega retro game content. Very fun YouTube channel, very high energy. Has some decent interviews on there as well. We recommend you go check them out. You can get the link either on my website or just going on YouTube after the stream, hopefully, and looking up G to the Next Level. Film Cow, once again gracing us with his presence, despite him being hard at work. I think he's still shipping out the epilogue to the Llamas with Hats thing. Oh yeah, I haven't caught the newest Shiro show yet. Honestly, the last 2 months, I work for the government, so you guys can imagine how my life has been for a little while now. So I'll just say that it's been a higher level of stress than I'm normally used to. I haven't had a lot of free time to pursue the stuff I want to pursue, and I'm hoping to cash in some of my leave time before the end of the competition to do my annual crunch stream stuff. So hopefully you guys will get to see how Scenario looks. It's nowhere near where I want it to be, but it's close enough to something I'd be comfortable with people seeing that I'm almost ready to have it up in public. I've been doing a lot of Secret Squirrel development. Anyway, Johannes Fetz, we're going to be looking over Joe Engine today. This is the author of Joe Engine, and also a judge of one of this year's competitions. Does he weight Joe Engine projects more than other projects? I have no clue. I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't... it's not against the rules for him to do that. Pandemonium, fantastic, in-depth, high production quality game retrospectives, reviews, including interviews with developers, and as always, the other Shiros, Saturn Dave and Trainoco. Everyone in chat here seems to know about the Shiro show, so I feel like it'd be redundant for me to go over what they do. I have not populated the entries yet because basically no one has actually posted details about their entry. And again, everyone has up until the deadline to actually submit on the entry form, which is linked here and on the Sega Extreme forum post, which I should probably also add in a link somewhere in here. So I have a couple of things to update on the website before we get going. All right, I think that's plenty of update material. Everyone, stick around and let's go over some Joe Engine stuff, and then hopefully you'll also be able to participate in the Sega Saturn 30th anniversary game competition. Go off and make your Sega Extreme forum account as well. Anyway, Joe Engine. So, luckily for everyone, I have already prepared a Joe Engine installation folder, but I'll go through the process with you. I don't know that the download link is up to date here. It might be, but it might not be. So what you want to do is you want to go over to the GitHub, just go over to the release, download the source. The source is this folder, it has all the stuff in it. And in addition to that, we want to use Mednafen for our emulator/debug. So we'll go off over to, we already saw that. Here, Mednafen. If you just Google Mednafen, you get to the Mednafen github.io. And just get the latest 64-bit release. They haven't updated in about a year or so, so whatever you have, if you already have one, is probably still good. And then, of course, inside the Mednafen folder, you need to set up a firmware folder with all relevant firmware. I happen to have a lot of different firmwares. I'm sure I only needed like 2 or 3 of these files. But now we're kind of ready to go. Yeah, so Manafe has a is a front end. I went over on my patching tutorial a while back, and you can find that on my YouTube channel on how to get your Mendefin set up so that really for most people the utility of having Mendefin, even if they have hardware, is if you want to test out your images without having to constantly transfer back and forth either to ODE or burn a disk, Mendefin will tell you to first order if it's working or not. Yes, Manafe is a nice front end. Like, it's not as nice as Kronos. Kind of like Kronos being like the modern day equivalent to Yabase, but good enough. Anyway. Oh, no projects yet. That makes sense. So, let's first start, and let's look for some, we don't need my emails. Let's look for some patch notes to see if there's anything new or up to date. Let's keep that documentation tab open just in case. But on the GitHub, let's see. Did he update anything on his, like, okay, the license is still the license. Oh, it looks like he got published in some stuff. Yeah. Okay. So on the release, does he have any patch notes? No. Okay, so this is going to be like a little mystery box. You know, like I said, you guys, you're all watching reaction content now. So, a beautiful thing about Joe Engine, and if you've seen some previews of SRL implements this too, is that there's automatically generated documentation for all the functionality of it. And then he also links to technical bulletins, which is great, errata and updates for Sega Saturn hardware, we'll call it personality quirks, because the Sega Saturn doesn't always react the same way that you expect it to. And of course, SGL documentation, and yeah, some more documentation on development standards. This is all, I'm not going to say it's required reading, because you can get away with a lot without having to know what the Saturn's doing. But like, if the first time you run into a problem, you're probably going to end up needing to do something around here. All right. We'll go over to Shiro. Sega Saturn, or no, it was Shiro Media Group. Sorry. Do I not have this bookmarked? I mean, this is my stream browser, so maybe I don't. There we go. Oh, yeah. I just went over that information. Stable release Joe Engine. Let's see. What are they? Let's skim through this. Stable version tags. Line scroll demo not working on console. So the Emerald Nova studio here is still partially in disarray in terms of like all of my electronics have been unhooked from my retro console capture setup. So it's been that way for basically half a year. So at some point I need to get down and actually hook everything back up again. It's going to be a lot of wiring. So I can't verify this part today. Well, we'll see if there's a... We'll try to go over some of this. We'll see how far we get. Knight's 3D pad support. Yeah, on the computer I'm not going to have a good way of emulating that, I don't think. Digital input on analog input demo. Interesting. Well, the heck is a stable version tag? Oh, it's literally just a it's been tagged. Okay, that's all right. This really didn't tell me all that much about what we're looking for, besides a couple of things we're probably going to be able to test. All right, let's dig into the samples. Oh my goodness, this is more than I remember. Let's go in order. So, sort by type. We want to open this in VS Code. So. There we go. The days of relying on Pad++ are over. We're doing an actual IDE for once. Let's see. Press A to pause drone animation. Okay, let's build and run this first, and then we'll see. We'll try to interpret what's going on. Compile. That was a little bit slower than I expected. Rodwood Mednafin. Okay, let's Alt-Shift-1, because I'm pretty sure this instance has not been mapped yet. Up, down, left, right, start, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, left, right. Cool. Okay, press A to pause the drone animation. Alright, so essentially he has an animation controller. So let's see, it's probably like some way to abstract away. This is probably something you'd end up having to build yourself, so it's nice that it's there. So, oh jeez. Not you, NVIDIA. Let's see. Okay, so this is like a manual draw call. X, Y, and Z for location, and I'm sure he's and the rotation state. There we go. Drone storyboard. So let's see where he sets up the storyboard. Now this is the draw command, this is a gamepad command. Where the main loop is going to be somewhere way at the bottom, right? Yep, over there. So let's see what the actual thing he's trying to do is. Circular saws are just oh, they have their own storyboard too. So he has a basic sinusoidal animation state. So 8-pixel sinusoidal. I'm guessing that's like a left-right thing, or it could be a circle, depending on... I forget what was going on in there. Let's keep that open again. Oh, okay. ReyeMe says I should look at the comment history, so let's check out on that just right quick. Okay, so the saws, yeah, the sinusoid is up and down. So I guess he applies that onto Y. And the rotation seems to be at constant speed. So that makes sense. Okay. Comment history. Honestly, I don't know how to use the website properly to find that. There's issues. There's pull requests. So the storyboard is like this data structure which contains the sprite to be drawn and some basic animation framework in order to have like a high level or top level control of it without having to do some manual draw call nonsense. Ray, if you can help me out here, how do you go look up the comment history of a repo? Oh. Okay, I guess I'll use two-factor authentication, GitHub. Can't trust me to stay logged in for more than a month at a time. Where's my authentication? Okay. GitHub. Digit. Thank you. Come again. Click on the gray text next to Joe's name, or not. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me go back. Joe engine. So there's a lot of... Oh, well, there's two deltas. It's just... He just changed the copyright information in the engine version here. You can look at the master branch. Oh, no, that... I don't want to do a diff, I just want to look at the comment history. Okay, main page. comment number here. I mean, I'm back to where I was. It doesn't give me like a list of previous comments. Yeah, I'd just be following a list of one file got changed, and it's like he's changing a clock symbol. What clock symbol? I don't see a clock. Main page. Okay, going back to the main page. Watch, fork, star, insight. Click clock icon right next to last comment. Well, oh, okay. There. Fix warning in file system. Merge pull request. I mean, honestly, these are all just like one-off fixes, and he didn't actually like. Normally, you would want to write a change log of some kind from release to release. So I don't think this is actually going to help us discover anything more than just going through the samples are. He did, a year ago, make a whole bunch of demos. That the thing is, for the past year and change, I've been working in SRL on scenario stuff, so I probably missed all this. But I'm not seeing a whole buttload of activity from there to there. Like, so July, ReyeMe, actually, ReyeMe, you contributed here a little bit. What did you add? You added an analog mission stick demo. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to test that, but we'll know that it's there. So we'll take a look at the code at least. And then, like 2 months ago, then he added the support inside of the... Oh no, Bimmer Labs added the support to the normal functions, like the Joe Engine libraries, as opposed to just a sample. And they got pulled in, some other pulls. So we'll see. I mean, Joe's schedule is probably very similar to my schedule in that he'll have several months of just not having time to do anything, and then maybe he'll be really productive for a week or two. Okay, anyway, Danthrax, to answer your question from way the heck earlier about the storyboard. So here's a storyboard object, and we can actually dig into, again, once again, compliments to the chef on the Doxygen here. Wait, is Doxygen here? Here? There we go. Where's the storyboard? There we go. So the storyboard gives you kind of this object to contain all like these different animation tools, so you can just apply an animation to something. So there's a repeat, suspend. So the suspend is probably what's happening when you press that A button there, and then the resume. Play, toggle. Or no, he's toggling it, I guess. Remove an object, reset. Yeah, so basically a whole bunch of utilization functions here. Yeah. So you can, it's tracking frames. You can skip frames apparently. And there's some really basic stuff going on here. So the sine radius. Now this is what's confusing because we have a translation here and a sinusoid here. So we'll see how he's implementing it, or not utilizing it. Well, it's not even a sprite sheet because if let's go back to the demo and run it. Right? These all look like static sprites to me. He's animating the static sprites, and I'm sure he has the ability to also apply additional sprites here. But you see, the drone is a static sprite. The little hover panel thing, whatever, is a static sprite. Those saws are static sprites being rotated. Now, the up and down motion is a sinusoid, right? So that's generally, anytime you want to do a circular motion or a repetitive motion, figure eight, whatever, you're going to implement a sinusoid. So you see it's fastest in the middle, and it slows down at the end to turn around and go back. Yeah. So problem with that, Ray, is using the word path. It doesn't clear up things, because like a path is, like a path to me just sounds like a file registry thing, like a file name. Right. So if we go back into the code, so he's creating an animation, some storyboard. So the sign radius, how does that get implemented? Translation speed on Y is 2. Oh, I see. So on the sinusoid, once you apply the sinusoid and then a translation speed, it starts implementing that up and down sinusoid motion. And I bet you can get a figure 8 if you applied an X coordinate on there with a different speed. So first, let's try a quick modification on there. Let's make one of the saws. I mean, this is both the saws are gonna have this now. Let's make the saws go in a circle. This should do it. Now I don't have the shortcut set up for Joe because I've been using SRL, so we'll just have to do a clean, compile. And run. Now adding that X variable X speed to the sinusoid should make it go sinusoidal on both axes. I don't see any way to control the phase difference between the X and the Y, so it's probably, oh boy. Yeah, I skipped a step there, or I did not proceed to the correct step. So at some point, he needs to be able to reverse the translation speed, I think. So let's, there's animate circular saws. I made them go off screen, unfortunately. Rotation speed, okay, well, that's self-explanatory. Sprite ID, X, Z. So the Z is distance into the screen. That's basically your draw order. There's your initialization. Let's skip down to animate circular saws. And what I don't get is that the sign radius, is it only applied onto Y? Because it should have come back, right? Because the translation speed should have been reversed, and I thought that automatically happened with the Y. So let's try this. Let's slow this down a little bit. 0 on Y, 1 on X. Let's see what happens. So I want to see how this is used. See, they're going, and they're not coming back. So what gives? Right? Like, I'm giving it a sign radius, and I'm giving it a translation speed on X instead of Y. When I give a translation speed on Y, it knows to go back up and down. And the circular saws, let's just look at the saws, see where else they come up. There's your initialization. Okay. But then after that, they're only drawn with a, here, my draw. Let's see what happens in my draw. Next step is my draw. Draw 3D and rotate the saw. Attributes.x, attributes.y. Okay, so that's just a location. So the animation handler, saws, and saws is a Circular saw is a type? Did he enumerate something? Sprite ID. Show 2D attributes. Okay, so it's got the attributes are just like a container for like basic position coordinates. Why is it? There's nothing in here that's differentiating the x and the y. So if I put 0 and then a 1, does a sinusoid only apply to the y-axis? That would be unfortunate. So what I don't get is the sine radius. Is there a cosine radius? Is he different? Is he saying sine as in sine must be along x because he's thinking of like a unit circle or something? Because that would that's kind of an abusive notation, but I can see how that might happen. So let's try this. Cosine. I don't have autocomplete on here, or? Okay, let's look at the animation state. No, it's just sine radius. No. So it doesn't set the size of the sprite. The sprite says the size of the sprite. It's just doing a straight sprite draw command. The sine radius is how far it's going up and down on that animation loop. Ah, lame. But there is a cosine radius. And so, this is not what these words mean. So, cosine doesn't just mean the x part of a circle. It means cosine. It's its own function. You can apply cosine onto vertical information. That's not against the rules. But I see what happened here. No, dang it, I'm not on the mix. Clean. Compile. Oh, wait, let me just double check, make sure I saved. So now this should be a circle. Compile. So the sine appears to only apply an animation loop on the vertical axis. I'm assuming the cosine is what's applying it onto the horizontal axis. I have not seen a I've not seen like a way to differentiate the phase on there, like the difference on when they start. So now they're going in a circle, just like the drone. Honestly, I should have looked at what the drone animation was doing first, because that probably would have cleared up a few things. Now, here's the fun part. Let's add a. Why do I keep opening up Notepad? Let's add speed. Let's double the speed on X, and that should generate a figure 8, because that is how math do. Boy, this is a boring song. There we go. All right. So both paths are sinusoidal. Cosine is still a sinusoidal function. So they're going in circles, but oh geez, no, you need a phase difference first. So they're not doing a figure 8. They're doing a I mean they're going back and forth. So now we're doing the zigzag because I need, like I said, a phase difference, right? So if I can draw a picture. So let's go to paint. Okay. So, all right, we have our saw, right? And then at any given time, we're gonna have some horizontal speed and some vertical speed, right? And if they both start at the same time, then they're going to start pushing in that direction. And then because I doubled the speed, it's going to go horizontally fast, and then slow, and then stop horizontally, but still go down vertically. So it's at its max vertical speed at this point, right? So that's the max vertical speed, but it's at 0 horizontal speed. And it's going to go back this way because the animation loop for the horizontal part is double the speed, so it's going faster. So then by the time it gets here, now it's at the bottom of its vertical animation. So it's at the opposite end of where it meant to be for that cosine or that sinusoid. And now we're finally back to 0 speed on the x axis, or on the horizontal. So now we have, like, if I were to draw it individually, we're going back this way, but still down during this loop. And over here, we're stopped. And then it's just going to go back and repeat the same thing, because now that we're down here, it's going to want to go up, because the up part, or the down part is over, and now the up part's going to start. And the left part is over, so now the right part's going to start. And so that explains why we're doing this little bracket animation stuff, right? Now, I want a figure 8, right? So figure 8 looks like this. So what does that mean? When I am here, I want to be going up and right. But when I start, when I'm all the way up here now, I want my vertical speed to zero out to nothing and start heading down. So I want to start heading down after this point, so like over here. But I still want to be maintaining my rightward motion, right? And kind of like similar over here. I want to go, you know, 0, but I want to start going up, and I still want to be maintaining a rightward motion. So the problem is we need to figure out where they both are going to be 0 and what the relation needs to look like. And the problem with the figure 8 is there's no real point where they're both 0, because otherwise you'd come to a stop, right? So at all points in this figure 8, you have some motion. Like when the circle is over here, you have maximum downward motion and 0 horizontal motion. Similarly, when you're at one of these top or bottom parts of the figure 8, you have well, not maximum horizontal motion, but you have a good chunk of your horizontal motion and 0 vertical motion. And at the middle, you have maximum vertical motion, maximum horizontal motion. So there is no point on the figure 8 in which they're all 0. But the way this is implemented is that they're all starting at their 0 point, right? They're all starting at the beginning of their cycle. So if they're starting at their 0 point, that means necessarily any shape that you want to draw that way is going to have like an endpoint. And a figure 8 doesn't have an endpoint. There's no definitive start or end to a figure 8. It's a loop that loops in on itself because it constantly has a speed somewhere. So let's see if we can't engineer one with what we have here. We have, geez, yeah, I actually don't see a tool here to do that. So count is probably just a frame counting thing, or like a way of tracking that animation. Direction also seems self-explanatory. Pretty sure disable just disables the whole animation. That's probably what toggle does. Frame and frame skip is another thing. I need some way to moderate cosine and sine. Now, if this was like math, I would add I, like the imaginary unit I, to one of these things to get what I want. But this is not math, this is Joe. So, I don't think we can get a figure 8 the way this is set up. I don't think that we can set a delay on one animation versus the other. No, because they're both being applied at the same time. So if I change the counter, I'm not just changing the counter for one, I'm changing the counter for everything. And I don't think I can nest like one animation onto another. Like I can't stop part of the animation, I'm stopping the whole animation. So this tool might not have to be updated in order to institute something like a figure 8, which is unfortunate. But it can do circles. That's nice. It can do circles and can do zigzags really, really well too. So let's see something ridiculous, right? So this is something I had to manually do for Galaxmus, that Christmas game I made a couple years ago. If there's something I can do to pause one aspect of the animation, then maybe. But I don't think I'll have that. There you go. See? So you see what I was talking about with the horizontal and vertical speeds changing. That changes how your path gets instituted. So you see, we come to a stopping point on the X, like 10 times as many times as we come to a stopping point on the Y, which is why it looks like that. And of course, A still pauses the drone animation, and all that does is it presses a toggle function. So where's A? Joe storyboard toggle. It toggles the whole storyboard, the entire thing. And so the storyboard itself, we can go on Joe Engine and see what the toggle actually does. Toggle? Yeah, so it just resumes and suspends the animation state. And that's the whole thing. So the whole thing is one animation. So unless we gave it two separate animations and tried to institute at the same time, I don't think that this is compatible with that. He's going to have to, to make this more useful, and it's already pretty useful for like really basic stuff. Yeah. When Joe says don't touch this, usually touching this breaks something because he's expecting it not to be touched. So the quick and easy way to fix this is you when this becomes 1 or 80 or whatever that value is, I manually set this to 0, and that would give us that figure 8. But can I use them at the same time? So like when I go, let's go again. So there's one animation, and there's. So how do we? Where does that animation get called? So that animation is generated here. So it's part of this storyboard. But then, how do we call the storyboard? So like when we have okay, Joe storyboard create for object. True. Okay, so that's a basic Joe function. Animate circular saws. What is it? Okay, so Ray, I get what you're saying. So I can see how that would work, where we could add another animation. I'm sure they would both resolve at the same time. Maybe it might break, maybe it won't break. But what I can do is I can break Joe's rules. So current cosine. If I break Joe's rules, I think I get what I want. So let me and this is a property of the storyboard, right? So let's touch the storyboard. Storyboard. Right? Storyboard object cache. Current cosine equal 80. All right, well, let's try to compile and see how it yells at me. Clean. Compile. Ah, jeez. Let's open PowerShell here. Compile.bat. It has no member named current cosine. So, no, it's storyboard, Joe storyboard object cache. It's a property. So sorry. Let's try this again. Stress. Oh, okay. Well then, what? It is a type. So then, when I create, here, okay, looks like we're gonna dig into what Joe Engine actually is doing. Let's look at the storyboard .c. Destroy, sign, reset, do storyboard. Where does he have the? Oh, it's probably the .h files. Okay, so he has this storyboard object cache, but I want to access it. So when I create... Oh, this is temporary? Oh, no. Add object. Okay, the object's been added. But then when I want to... Is it literally just called temp? Is... Great, I'm literally looking... Like, the docs are this. This is the only docs. There's no other docs. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So, like, create animation. Yeah, I know I'm going unintended, but, like, you're saying read the docs. The docs are literally one line. But I'm not trying to add, I'm trying to institute a phase difference, right? Because if I add another animation, they're both still going to start at the same time. So that doesn't solve the problem. Okay, so explain what you mean by sequential. Like, it completes one animation first and then it starts another animation? Or it applies both animations frame by frame, one after another within the same frame? So the first one. That doesn't help me, though. You see that, right? Because then it's going to go up and down once. Yeah, it goes up and down once and then it goes left and right once. That does not get us a figure 8. Unless you did it, like, one pixel at a time. That's not a figure 8, though. That's 2 circles. What I'm trying to do is hard code a phase difference, right? So, what I want to know is, like, if I want to try to retrieve the equivalent of the Joe storyboard object cache of that storyboard, how is it being stored? Haha. Get object cache, but what's the object? Object first. All right, let's grab this. Oh wait. Illegal figure 8. All right. And then the storyboard is a storyboard. The object is... jeez. I just had it in front of me, too. Storyboard objects.first. So much white space. It doesn't help. Okay. And so we'll try to do cache current cosine equals 80. '90 and 91. Am I in the wrong file? Oh, you mean in here? Oh, I see. So the object wouldn't even exist yet then. If we're adding the object here. So we need to wait, does Joe Storyboard Edge object have a return type? Void. Nope. Okay. Well, it's not meant to be used that way, so I shouldn't be surprised. This is probably not going to work, but I want to see what happens when I try. No. No, you shouldn't be letting me do that. Run with Metnafin. There's no way this actually works. Yeah, it definitely broke something. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to do something illegal. Like I said, I wanted to make a true figure 8. Apparently, trying to access that object post-hoc didn't do that. So, oopsie whoopsie, it crashed. Yeah. I think it's sufficient to say that Joe Engine doesn't really want me to do what I'm trying to do here, which is institute a time delay between the cosine and sine portions of these animation states. Ditch the second parameter and give the @saw 0. What are you on about? All right, I'll try anything once. Don't clip that. Run with net. Okay, it occurs to me that I forgot that I set this to 10 and I forgot I did that. Now let me think. At the start, we're basically at the top left, but let's forget like relative positions for now. We want let's assume that we're on the very left edge. So that means we want to start going up and or down. Well, not and, or down. Which means we want our horizontal position to be 0, but our vertical, or our horizontal speed to be 0, but our vertical speed to start being maximized. So let us apply current sine 80 and see if we get us that horizontal figure 8 that I've been trying to get. Oh, let's look that up real quick. Oh, it's a short, which to me short means pixel space. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Clean, compile, Yeah, I'll squeeze this up over here so you guys can actually see what's going on. And then run. Let's see if this actually does the thing I'm trying to make it do. Okay. So perhaps I misinterpreted. Maybe instead of maximizing the speed, I should zero it. Let's try enforcing the type of behavior I'm looking at for. So essentially, what really matters is that one guy has 0 speed while the other guy has max speed. Is there a current speed, or is it literally just current? Yeah, okay. And the DX is probably going to be a little bit, but whatever. And after this, let's go on to the next example, because we've been here for a minute. Jeez, it's still reverting backwards. If anything, all I did is made it run in reverse somehow. So it's... We want a figure eight, which means the horizontal speed should be twice the vertical speed, and at the start of the animation, we should want to start with a vertical and 0 horizontal. But it is still just making a I mean, now it's kind of making a curved thing, which is a little bit different than what the guy on the right's doing. 40. Oh, you think it's peak to peak? That's interesting. Yeah, because then we just institute a weird delay, but we'd still end up with the same problem. Yeah, okay. I press Control B as if that's going to do anything. Hey, Knight, welcome to the stream. So we're trying to hack Joe's storyboard animation thing. I'm not sure how long you've been keeping track of what's going on. But essentially, Joe has this sinusoidal animation frame state, but he doesn't have a phase delay built in. So we're trying to hack it in, so I can get a figure eight, and not like 2 circles. Hey, that counts! That counts! I'm counting it. That's a figure eight. That is a figure eight, right? Right? Am I crazy? I'm not crazy. That's how you do it. I knew this was worth spending an inordinate amount of time trying to figure out how to hack it. All right. Well, this is the documentation for how to violate Joe's documentation. Let's look at what we did for that figure eight, right? But it is doing a figure eight. It's not as clean as I wanted it to be, and that's primarily because it's like a sinusoidal function is not going to be perfect for this. Well, no, it should be perfect for this. Really, I think it's the delta x's that we're screwing with. So, like, the first derivative of like what we're doing here is not going to match up with the position. So the position and the velocity have like some sort of mismatch here that's causing that to happen. It's hard for me to explain without like pulling out a chalkboard and sitting down with everyone. But the point is, we have something approaching a figure eight. So, and then you can retrieve the attributes to put a bounding box on there to do some basic collision. So that's, you can make a figure eight platform in your 2D platformer, right? So here's what we did. You know, the storyboard seems like has a lot of very self-explanatory functionality. You run this function here with all the stuff that you're putting in this animation. It adds that animation to that storyboard, and it kind of just gets run with that draw callback, right? Joe loves doing callbacks as opposed to an infinite loop. So in the my draw, literally just the 3D draw and rotate, it calls on the attributes from this I mean, this is a struct that he made that basically is just there to hold onto the attributes that are being iterated upon by the storyboard. So the storyboard is iterating it automatically on the back end. That's just like a Joe Engine functionality now. So we did a cosine and a sine of equivalent radius. You know what? It occurs to me that in a figure eight, the one of the radii should be half the other to make like actually look like a figure eight. Who cares? I don't care anymore. The point is, this is the normal stuff that we did, and then we added that animation object onto the storyboard like so. But then we went back in and broke the rules and said, okay, let me get the object cache and directly access the current values of the cosine, because these are either going to start both at 0 or both at like 40 or whatever, or probably like half of 80, the thing that we put up here. But if we instituted a 90-degree phase shift by making one 0 and the other one 40, giving us that figure 8. And that's how we did that. So if anyone asks how to break Joe Engine's animation stage, link them this VOD on YouTube. I don't like callbacks. I like manual control in an infinite loop. I like while one, right? Anyway, yeah, we've broken enough stuff today. Let's move on to the next demo. That was fun. Oh, 3D. Everyone loves 3D. Honestly, I don't care how much progress Joe has made in this stuff. I don't think I could honestly recommend Joe Engine for a 3D project. I think the only realistic thing, and I used to have to use XL2's toolbox, the ZTP toolbox enough. Really, once SRL is properly out in public, I think that's the only feasible way for any one-man operation to be able to do 3D, because there's so much tooling that goes into making a 3D game. Just ask Seven Shades how much crap he had to build just to get his CubeCAD up and running. Anyway, now I'm done, you know, like, undercutting what I'm about to show. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Well, so Ray, I wasn't referring so much to like a giant if-then tree for like handling every game event. I would section things off into their own state machines, which would then call the correct functions. But at the top level, the very top level, I want to see the flow of start of the loop, game logic, draw call, input, parsing, etc., in whatever order you deem necessary. Usually input logic draw, or draw input logic. Okay, so this is not a new sample. I'll just go over real quick what's going on here. Main.c. Right. Yeah, Joe has all this additional functionality that relies on the callback structure. So yeah, if you're using Joe Engine, you basically have to keep doing the callback stuff. Blame Jefferson Bezos or what have you. Let me look at my yeah, I've got a solid 4 megabit per second going out. So either it's your phone carrier or it's Amazon Twitch. Anyway, so the draw ghost. Let's look at that first, because it's like the most noticeable thing, is that the ghost is being drawn semi-transparent. So how did we institute that? Oh no, he's doing the back and forth motion. That's what this is right here. Which, yeah, fine, whatever. Maybe it's the initialization function for the creating a ghost. Set transparency to true. All right. Joe 3D get sprite quad. This is the most annoying thing for working on the Saturn, is no matter what, your drawing pipeline is always like a sequential list of textures and or sprites in which you have to like keep track of somehow on your end to be able to know, yeah, the sprite was like the third thing I put into the loading function. Where did he actually load the stuff? Not in main, not in draw. Not in draw, not in draw. Where's the actual... Where did you load things? Initialize the camera. Oh, Okay, so he's adding the TGA. So there's index 0, 1, 2. Transparency color green. Is that true? Is that got a green background? Oh boy. Yep, green background. Alright. Not my first choice. Here's our floor texture. TGA being like the gold standard if you're trying to like just get some basic texture data or sprite data onto the Saturn, because everyone's got some sort of TGA parsing function. Yeah, I get that. I'm just I wish life was easier, right? Okay, is that, I don't know how else to say that. Like, I know it has to be done. I know someone has to do it. I just wish it was easier than just saying, "Yeah, I know Ghost is number 2." On modern graphics, though, everything is so object-oriented that you can, like... everything's object-oriented and memory managed, so, like, you don't have to keep track of the index. Like, if I drop a sprite into Godot, I just look at, like, the sprite object and not the, Well, yeah, I don't want to play at the graphics API level. I don't want to program video games. I want to design video games. There's a difference, right? Anyway, so we got your box. You got the floor. They don't really have any background to speak of, and then the ghost. Drawing the floor, he's just drawing it at an angle, and then the cube. He has a mesh. Cube quads. Now, where do we do cube quads? There we go. So, creating the cube, we have just some textures, then cube quads and vertices. All right. So the quads hold the texture data. So he's applying the first sprite onto that texture data. And the vertices are generated by this function here, which basically just give you a box of what I believe to be a either 32 or 64, probably 64 unit box, or maybe 32. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think the Saturn can live with that level of lookups. I think everything has to be optimized because the Saturn is just annoying to deal with. Which is, once again, like, every day I come closer to saying screw it. I'm developing on Godot now, you know. Anyway, so there's not much special going on in this demo. It's literally just doing 3D draw calls, which, like, at this level you don't really need that much, so it's fine. Gee, this song just keeps dragging on. 3D programmatically. What does that mean? Got a 3D demo. So he's got what appears to be some sort of cube being rotated, or at least something that looks like that. Well, no, it's just a mesh. What's the mesh look like? Is he loading in a mesh from somewhere, or is he generating it? Oh, he's literally hard coding in a 2-quad mesh. You would never actually want to do this. But let's compile and run anyway. Hey, Technohammer, welcome to the stream. Yeah. I mean, the only way... already you can see some Z fighting here, which is kind of funny, but, you know, you can't really help it. It's the Saturn. The only way I could see wanting to do something like this is if you're doing, like... You'd still have to abstract it away with some sort of parser. But, like, if you're doing, like, a Doomish kind of thing, or Wolfie kind of thing, where, like, you're just drawing straight-up walls, but you don't want to raycast them, this is something. Cheers right back at you to, Oh, hey! Check it out, I'm planning on going to Gamescom, but after Gamescom, I think Mrs. Dr. Emerald Nova wants to go over to the UK. And so, if there's enough Shiros willing to either hang out one of two places, I think we're trying to go to some part of Scotland. We'll probably spend some time in London, I don't know yet. But I want to do some research, but not like research, but like a quick little like photograph and texture trip, like take some pictures to do some texture work in Ireland. So if you're in any of those places sometime around Gamescom, which I believe is in August, near the end of August, let me know. We can hang out or something like that, or any of the other UK Shiros. Okay. So anyway, yeah, for this demo, there again, not much special going on. He's setting up a mesh that you can see what the mesh is. Just, you know, 50 big, well, actually 100 big squares connected at a right angle and just being rotated about. Well, this square is bigger, but, you know, whatever. Okay. Next, 3D map. Okay, let's run this as a little surprise. I'll come up with an itinerary. Funnily enough, I have to like justify my travel to the government first, so I gotta do that. So I have to come up with an itinerary for that too. Oh boy. But no, I want to take some pictures of some like Irish castles and whatever, anything that can date back like about, you know, anywhere between 1,000 1,500 years. I can get some like Hadrian's Wall textures or whatever. Well, that's not Ireland. You know, like the equivalent, right? See if I can't shove that into the game somewhere. Map and sprite in 3D. What is the map? What does he mean by map? Texture map? Is the texture map literally just that sprite? The map is the wall? Map, load map, what map? Do I have to like open up the Joe map creator or something? Is this literally like the Joe map? Let's see. World map ID. Alright, so that's literally just the number 0. Where does he load it? Load the map. Load map from file, world map ID. Let's look at the CD folder. Map. Wall.map. I believe, yeah, this should all be VDP1. Let's see, Joe Map Editor. Maybe this is the thing that he's talking about. Let's see if we can't load that file and see what it looks like. Sprites folder. Freaking, I don't know, man. It's just, all right, C drive. Oh boy. C drive, game dev. Joe Engine 2025.1. Samples, 3D map, and then the CD folder, and then the map, I guess? Let's see. Available sprites. No sprites available. Okay. Open. Well, what was the point of making me choose a folder if I had... Whatever. Okay. Let's try to open this map file. I want to know what exactly is going on here. It's Wile E. Coyote. No, sorry, this is the wall. Right? ERK.tga not found in available sprites. Oh, brick. Okay. But it is here. But why is it in a different place? Here, let me just copy this over. There we go. Oh, I see. Okay, so you want... You want to set the sprite folder to the act. Joe, you are breaking my balls. Okay. Tools, change sprites folder. Oh, okay. I really. Let's try this again. PC, C drive, game dev. Joe 2020. Why would you use this interface? Give me something I can copy and paste into, please. Samples, map, CD, text. Let's open up text. There we go. Now the textures are available for mapping. Cool. Let's open up the map file. Finally. That is... Okay, I see I see. All right. See you, Danthrax. All right, let's What? No, just. Oh. Ah, funny. All right, let's see if this this does a thing. No, not you two. You stay there. You go over here. And I bet you it doesn't let you like rotate either. Here, let's have his head peeking out over here. I want to see if this actually works. So we'll save the map. I want save as, but screw it. I'll just save the. I'm not coming back to the sample anyway. I can undo it later. So now we have the map, but the map I modified it to have a little bit of Wile E. Coyote's face popping out there. So let's try that. I don't even have to change the code. I just have to recompile. Okay. Run with Minfin. So this sprite mapping feature, which Joe Map Editor is helping out with. Yeah, there we go. See, you got the Wile E. Coyote thing going on over there. He's well, you see the sprites are fighting, which isn't great. So that's you can't use it the exact way I was using it, which is like letting sprites overlap, because then you'll get Z fighting. But you do see how easy it is to add it in. Now, here's how you really use this, right? And now I am less confident in that answer of previously that this is using VDP1, because to me a map sounds like something VDP2 would do. So let's real quick. Oh geez. So let's go into the code. Let's see, how do we draw the map, right? The map is drawn. Joe map draw 3D. So let's go into the documentation and see. Come on. Let's just read. Joe Engine map sprite map. Okay, so the sprite map is what? Per pixel collision. Oh geez. Wow. Oh, there's some interesting stuff in here that he's not demoing. Now, I'm not gonna have time to actually like figure all this out and like play with it, but like I'm starting to see what the useful stuff is. Now, this could be VDP1, this could be VDP2. I would assume it's VDP2, but I don't want to make that assumption. So, honestly, this is something I have to dig like really deep into the weeds for to figure out. The point there being is what you would use this for is like on a 2D game or even on a 3D game, you can like have these basic textures. Like generally when you have like a tiled like terrain thing and it's like a square tile thing, like, as opposed to like a hex like in Civ or whatever, you'd have 9 different draws, right? You'd have the pure tile and then bordering the next tile over. And you'd probably need more than 9 if you had more than 2 different kind of tiles there. So let's just say you had like grass and dirt, and you want to transition between grass and dirt. Let me try to pull up an example so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Tile map. Like RPG Maker does this for you automatically. Right? So here's something. There. Just open this image. So you see how like in the middle you just have pure grass. Like if you split this up into 9 tiles, you'd have like a corner, 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 and then the side pieces, and then in the middle like a pure thing. And then you have the inverse over here if you want to go like from grass to dirt. And then you just have normal grass in the middle, normal dirt in the middle, and that these 18 tiles from this square and this square would be enough for you to make something non-trivial. So you'd use 18 tiles, and you'd only have 18 tiles in loaded up into VRAM. But then you would draw them out using that map with like that Joe's little map editor thing, so you could actually draw out like a little path. So if I wanted to if I wanted to draw out like a path, right? Now I only have one tile to do this, so let's try this. Right? Oh, this is a nice song. Why would you keep the other one selected too? Right. And let me just I'll just put a little question mark there, right? That's gonna be my map. Ah, jeez. Ah, jeez. Here we go. A bit of D&B. What do you want about D&B? Oh no. If that's what I think it is, no. Alright. So we got a little... Right. And you can imagine me just drawing... So the functionality of this is great, but I really could use like just a paintbrush tool or something. So I didn't have to drag every single freaking sprite down. There we go. And so you see, you can make like with two different textures, you can make a non-trivial like pattern that you can use as like a game map that your character would walk over. So let's see if that actually ran. Okay, yeah, drum and bass. I gotcha. Okay. I guess I assumed you meant something different there from what I was drawing, but never mind. There we go. But yeah, that's fun. Like, we should probably turn off the rotation so I could try to demonstrate what I mean. Because, like, the rotation is nice for a demo, but it also does not demonstrate, like, an actual use case. Yeah, I'll go ahead and let these guys be. Warning. It's warning me that I'm not using stuff I commented out. Okay. One more go. Let's do just like a 10-degree rotation. Minus 10. Minus 10. Run with minifan. That is not what I expected to happen. Now I'm confused about my use case. Draw the map. Oh, you know what? I would, there we go. minus 10, and then 90. Or, you know what? Minus 80, and then 9. Okay, that's probably what I want. Because I want to like be viewing the game at an angle. Because this is a nice way to do like a sprite-based pseudo 3D kind of environment thing. So I'll try to get this done right. Now, I'm not going to do like any controls or anything like that because I mean that part's like outside the scope of what I'm trying to show. There we go. See, so now we have like that map, which is literally just like 2 textures drawing out in a terrain-like fashion, and then you have your main character, which is just drawn at a 90-degree angle from that map. And so you can imagine Wile E. Coyote being able to walk with his little walk animation on top of these tiles. And yes, the map is drawn flat. But that's not the worst thing in the world, especially for homebrew, because then you can imagine drawing like little trees and houses or whatever, you know, just like a whole sprite-based environment and just have the ground be ground. And so this is not a bad way to just get like a really simple, basic, flat floor level kind of thing. And I could see this becoming a dungeon crawler if I was inclined to play in Joe to make a dungeon crawler in 3D. Or, you know, you could do like a Doom kind of thing. Like imagine he's a caca demon or whatever it's called, and you just put a little gun sprite on the bottom of the screen, and then fire, and then there you go. You got yourself a little shoot you up. You know, based off of this map thing. I could see a lot of utilization for this map tool if like you really need a way to draw non-trivial ground features, or if you want to do this a purely sprite-based game, you want to do like a Pokemon or something like that, and you need like a sprite-based tile map, Final Fantasy 1, whatever. This is probably easier than trying to figure out VDP2 functions. I hate having to figure out VDP2 functions, and honestly, like the Saturn has enough horsepower, we can just completely get rid of VDP2 and not worry about it, and for homebrew. So that's the map demo. Go back to samples. Let's skip around a bit. 8-bit TGA, that's just loading. Advanced 3D. Oh, let's look at Advanced 3D. I know 7 Chains has figured out VDP2 functions, but like, you remember how much trouble we had just getting one single sprite or single texture to load in a way that we wanted before we even thought about mapping it? It's at some point, like, and I make this criticism a lot, and I don't like having to constantly criticize while I'm trying to show stuff off, but like, a lot of the times, especially in the Saturn space, people are mostly like programmers and like hackers and stuff, and they're way more focused on making technologically impressive or more efficient functionality of stuff without actually thinking about, hey, what is the fastest way to develop a game with an eye on like the user experience. Not the developer experience, but the user experience. Now, the fastest way to get something good in a user experience is to have dumb, easy tools for the developer to play with. And so, like, yes, 7 Chains has done fantastic work on doing VDP2 functionality, but even still, VDP2 is such a disgustingly complex beast that if you don't already know the Saturn very well, it is horrible to work with. And so if you have the option of just drawing everything in VDP1 and your game doesn't require more than like 1,000 sprites at a time or like 800 sprites draw call, you probably shouldn't even bother. Because that's like the time you spend trying to wrestle with VDP2 could be spent making more levels. Anyway, this is just like drawing a non-trivial mesh that he's uploading. Let's see what the mesh actually looks like, how he got that into the Saturn. I hope it's not just a header file. I don't think it is. So, loading the mesh, loading the mesh, loading the mesh. Where do you load the mesh? Okay, there's a rock.tga. But where's the friggin' mesh? Where's the friggin' mesh? Display rock mesh. Okay, that's its own function. Somewhere else. Do we have an include statement? Model.8. Oh no! Joe, you broke my heart. This is his mesh. Yeah, you would never ever make a game like this. You don't make your game mesh files like .agent. Even as an export, you don't want something that you just like load up at compile time or whatever. You want something that you point to a file and load it as needed, so you can empty it out when you're not in a situation where you need to draw that. Like you're not going to have the same models throughout your entire game. Presumably, it's a game of any scale. But anyway, that's beside the point. If you want to load up meshes in Joe Engine, you can use the CTP tools that exist, or you can wait for SRL to come out, which unfortunately is probably going to be after the competition. And you can use the Nya loader, which is fantastic, very simple to use. You export an object in Blender, and Blender is like a full-featured 3D thing. So that's what you would want to do. So here's the thing: it's not the laziness thing, right? Like, because obviously you say that, but you also did like a disgusting amount of work getting that ring. The point is that you make it easy for the developer to focus on making assets for a game as opposed to fighting the hardware. And that is exactly what I was saying before, is that that's what you want to happen. You want something that's super easy for a developer to be able to focus on the game part of the game as opposed to the how do I get Saturn to draw a cell tile map or whatever part of the game. Yeah, so ReyeMe, along with a great team of developers, I believe they went over it on Shiro Show. I didn't catch it, but they did put together SRL. SRL is what Scenario is currently being run out of right now until I give up and go to Godot, which may or may not happen. But I believe it is going to be the new paradigm for Saturn Homebrew. I don't see anything else coming close to competing with it. It is too full-featured. The only caveat being you kind of have to duct tape Pony Sound on top of it to actually get everything you need. Which is true for everything, I think. I don't think Joe has a sound demo. I think Ponut has a Joe Engine sound demo for Pony Sound. And I say that, and my mouse is right above the audio demo. So let's try the audio demo. Maybe Joe will make a liar out of me. Okay. First off, I want to peep the code. I want to see exactly what's going on here. CD playing. Oh, it's just CD. Okay, no, that's load blop sound. PCM. I remember this being broken. Let's find out. Okay, let's give Shot of the Hedgehog a break here. Now we're going to check something, because I remember this being a problem. We're going to listen to it inside of the Joe Engine, and then we're going to open up that file separately. Is it? I've never had that experience. Okay, let's play the CD music. Yeah, so CDDA audio works. That's kind of expected, yeah. Very responsive, too. Like, I'm not noticing any lag time between me pressing the button and it starting to play. So there's no... Yeah. Unfortunately, it always starts at the beginning of the track. So that's one of my issues, is that with CDDA audio, like, it's great, but first, that's what your CD's doing. So you're not loading anything while that's happening. So either you turn off the sound while you're loading something, meaning you can't do any sort of real-time loading or in-loop loading, or like everything has to be, the entire game has, or at least the entire level has to be loaded up between gameplay. So like when you're actually in the game, everything needs to be in RAM, including all of your models, all of your video stuff, and you know, graphics, whatever. So if you have a game where you can like change your equipment, right? Like you're holding a sword, you want to change to a gun or something like that, and you have a lot of different options. You got a big inventory of different weapons and stuff. You don't have the option of doing that while the sound is loading. Like, your game is going to come to a screeching halt, including the background music, while the Saturn loads up your next model file and unloads the previous one. Which is why if I could ever figure out how to get it working in a way that I like, Pony Sound is great because it has the streaming audio. So like you can actually stream the audio and it loads up a chunk of the audio. And yes, it's going to lower your load times for everything else at the same time, but everything's happening in parallel. So you load up the audio and then you also have a little bit of time to load up other stuff. So you could, in theory, while the game is running, load a different model, like, you know, switch out your sword or whatever, your gun, your bow, blah, 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 blah. And the background sound is still playing, and it gives the appearance that the game has not come to a screeching halt. Everyone says VBT might know how to do it, and every time someone says that, VBT comes around and says, I don't know how to do that. Damage X, I believe, is the only person that's even come close to it. I know someone else has been poking around SX Discord asking about, they came around my Discord as well, asking about, hey, has anyone done like a MIDI tracker for Saturn? And by God, if we had one, I would love to see it. I would love to be able to use MIDI tracking in the Saturn. And I don't want to have to build it, but I might have to. I might have to just get like a 440 hertz C note or whatever, or A note. I forget which one it is. Or just a standard like C4 or C3. I forget how they do the tracker stuff. Basically like your PCM file, and you just pitch it up and down with your tracker stuff. That's the only way I see it happening. Maybe I need to buy him a baguette and get him to teach me. Or maybe like I keep saying, I'll give up and go to Godot. Okay, let's play the plop sound. Yeah, it's very hard to notice, isn't it? And it's not very responsive either. Maybe it's just got a long dead time and it doesn't restart on command. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's there. Yeah, there it is. So, my experience with Joe Engine, and let's just check, is that he was doing playback of PCM, but it was at the wrong sample rate. Like I don't think 3200 on the dot is a valid sample rate. So playback was happening, but it was happening incorrectly. Now, let's try to play this PCM. Can you play it? No. Winamp does not know how to play PCM. We're going to have to go into Audacity, which luckily I have open, and try to import PCM. Or not that. Import. I think it's raw data actually for PCM. Import raw data. Hey, okay. This says the same thing I was complaining about earlier. Is like the they don't let you like paste in a path. You have to like navigate. It's like the most annoying way of doing this. Joe Engine samples demo underscore audio. Well, not underscore demo audio CD. Yeah, PCM. Okay, we are claiming. And once again, I don't think the Saturn does this properly. We are claiming it is 3200 on the dot, right? Now, what other properties does it have? Mono, 16-bit. So let's do 16-bit PCM, default, mono, no start offset, sample rate. You see what I mean? Like the Saturn has very specific sample rates it's expecting. So if I try to port this at 3200 on the dot, let's see if it actually sounds the same. See? There. That's what it's supposed to sound like. It's supposed to sound like a pop. Wait, can you guys hear that? Let me check my. Yeah, you guys can hear that. So this sounds completely different than what we heard in the Saturn, in that demo. Yeah, so that's the thing though, and this has been broken for forever, is that Joe doesn't play the sound effect right. So you can get your sound effect edited to what you want. I'll put the music back on. But this playback, like even his own sample, it does not work correctly. Like you hear something, but you don't hear what you expected to hear. Yeah, and this is the same problem I had earlier. So this is why Forsaken Plain, because way back when, before I knew how to do anything besides Joe, Forsaken Plain was a silent game because the sound tools were broken. Like I couldn't make sounds that worked on the Saturn. Like I need Joe Engine to Bone sound in order for anything to work. Background. This is probably a VDP2 demo, so let's just look at it real quick. I'm not going to dig into it too much. I'm probably going to close up stream after a few more samples because I think the most interesting thing was that animation handler, which we spent a good deal of time on. Okay, so this is it's literally just displaying a background. It doesn't do anything else. And it's a TGA. So let's see what he does. He probably just loads it up into VDP2. It's probably very, very simple piece of code. Where is main.c? Alphabetical order, of course. Yeah, TGA loader loads in the bg.tga. Then he sets as a background sprite. Set as a background sprite. Interesting. Let me double check. Make sure I'm not crazy. Add background sprite. He calls it a sprite, which is a warning sign to me. Is this VDP2 or is it not? No, he's got a scroll table. So if you got a scroll table, he's on VDP2. Okay. So no, he's loading into VDP2. At least presumably. So Ray, if I was to remake Forsaken Plain, I could just remake the original game, and it would be okay, but that would do no good for anyone. Hey, I'll show you. So the other day, I went to Sega Extreme, and I actually uploaded my. There we go. Oh boy. Oh, well, I'll check into that in a little bit. I uploaded my games to resources, right? And I'll show you my resources are. My resource, there we go. And so Forsaken Plain has had 62 downloads. Here's the thing: if I just remade it shot for shot, I would change. Nothing would be apparent to the player. But if I were to actually put effort into making it a little bit better or a little bit more like how I'd like, first off, very fundamental pieces of the code would change. It would be non-trivial amounts of effort. So I'd actually be doing this instead of scenario, which honestly at this point, okay, sure, maybe I want to take a little bit of a break from like the same game engine I've been staring at the whole time. But yeah, it would come at the cost of me not making progress on the game I'm trying to make right now. I guess I could add sound. I honestly, for Forsaken Plain, I want a little bit more analog control in terms of like, I don't want to be stuck on a tile grid. I want to just be able to move around and have like basic collision against the walls, and maybe have like some rebound on hitting the enemies. And I'd also need like better art and more art because like one of the weapons in Forsaken Plain was a punch, but I didn't have a punch animation, so it just looks like you're doing nothing when you're using your fist as a weapon. Which is very confusing to the player. It was an oversight. I should have just not added fists as a potential weapon. Also, like no magic animation, etc., etc. You just see your health go up. It was a quick and dirty job. And this song is boring. It's more complex mechanically in that there's a full-featured leveling system underneath it. It's just underutilized because there's only so many features added to the game. It's okay for a roguelike with no like roguelike features, like the map is always the same. And maybe that's something I can do. Let me see. Backup. Do we have save files now? Let's see. Well, Joe Engine has save files. Okay, let's check this out. I know it was. I just remember it not working or something, or like like something was broken about it. Maybe I'm misremembering. So yeah, it's hard for me to do anything with this because this is the first time I'm opening this program on kind of a freshish Mendefin install. Well, no, it is a fresh Mendefin install. Like you've only seen Mendefin do what it's been doing on stream today, so it's already saying the file exists, meaning it probably just automatically saved the file as opposed to air it out. So, like, what's the first thing that it does? All right. My jaw, jump over run. Great. If yeah, so there's no interaction with this thing. So the only way we'd be able to figure out if something didn't work, because this is running every frame, is like the very first split second, like the very first frame that this is running, it's going to say no, the file does not exist. And then it's going to save the file, right? And then after that, it's going to say the file exists. So to the user, basically all they're ever going to see is this after like the first 60th of a second. So there's no indication that it's doing anything. And I don't know how to dig into the Mendefin save files to verify, but we can try. What are we gonna do? Edit with Notepad? Maybe it's in plain text? Let's check this out. Yeah, this is, this doesn't tell me anything. Oh boy. Maybe this one? Because we're supposed to be seeing like a hello world kind of thing. It was saving a text file, but I mean, I could try poking around in HXD, but I don't think that would give us anything. Yeah, right. Like I should be able to press a button, and it says, okay, you've saved this file like 10 times or whatever, and that would like indicate that something non-trivial is happening. So I'm going to trust that the backup is working. I just don't know how to verify it because I don't have a good way to like browse the Saturn save file out of Mendefin. Unless maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. Who knows? Let me try one more thing. I mean, what else would it be besides that save? Right, and this is exactly what I just did. SMPC. So I don't even know enough about the Saturn save file paradigm to know like what I'm supposed to be looking for. Is it the BKR, the BCR, or the SMPC? I don't think it's the SMPC, but I'll look at it anyway. Yeah, it's just nulls. It's just like junk characters. So who knows? Right? Let's assume it's working and move on. We've seen Bullet before. It's literally just a basic like bullet hell demo thing. Debug console, like that's self-explanatory. Everyday Cute sounds new. Let's look at it. Interesting. Cinepack? Let's find out. Okay, that's nice. Out of curiosity, let's go to everydaycute.com just to see what that means. Well, this might be an older sample, I don't know. Great. Let's see. No, he's literally just doing a frame by frame animation. It's just TGAs. I think he just did that one for fun, or someone did. File system. Let me just poke around real, because I'm certain that the actual visual demo is not going to be super. Oh, well, that's nice. Okay. I'm just gonna poke around real quick. So it's able to open like a file. And the file says like here. This file says Sega Saturn. Here, let me close some of these other things so I can bring this on screen. Right. So file 2 says rocks. File 3 is emoticon for happy eyes, I guess. And so if we compile it. Oh. Ah, jeez. Sorry, I'm dealing with some weird interface crap here from OBS. Jeez. There we go. Why is this thing broken? Okay. Sorry, guys. There we go. No, it's my screen size. That's the problem. Anyway, what was I doing? I compiled it. Let's run it. Freaking OBS is screwing with me. All right. Well, we'll check it out in a second. Yeah. So this is what I meant. Like, this is something closer to what I would prefer to see on the file loading demo. Is that I press a button and it loads up a save file or whatever, or makes a save file and then loads it. And then you can actually see, yeah, it's loading up 3 different files, and you can verify that the files are doing file stuff. Anyway, if you have a need to load up from a file, I think text for dialogue makes sense, because he's loading up plain text.txt files. Or if you have like a special binary format that you've got playing around with. everyday-cute.tumblr.com. First off, who still uses Tumblr? Ew, no. Pusheen. Huh. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of 4-frame animations. They're all 4-frame animations. Okay. Okay, sure, yeah, it's cute. Why are you on Tumblr? Also, May 27th of what year? Oh, February. This is probably actually somewhat recent. So someone's actually maintaining this Tumblr blog. Let's see. Gamepad is self-explanatory. Go red shading. Okay, chat. I'll let you guys decide, because I'm ready to pack it up for now, because we've been at this for a minute. Because I wanted to do some previews of what I thought would be fun or useful new features from Joe, but also I think we've seen a lot of this before. So, software rendering. Oh, you know what? There's a couple things we should probably hit up. First, you guys remember that Voxel thing? Let's do that. That's new. I remember this preview being talked about for a second. First, let's see it running, and then let's see what actually goes into making it. It's probably horrendously complicated. Oh god, this is sluggish. Wow. Okay. Oh, I can descend. Okay, that's A. A's descend. Up, up. I want to go up. X? Oh, X. Okay, there we go. And B looks down. Y looks up. Does C do anything? Oh, C reduces the draw distance, so it's like less disgusting to render. And then Z increases the draw distance, so you can barely crawl. Geez, what is this like land data from like some sort of geographic survey or something? We need a frame counter in the corner of the screen. Let's see how. There we go. Now this is a reasonable speed, but I also can't see anything. Maybe if the voxels were bigger, we can get away with something. There we go. So when you're very close to the ground and looking at the horizon, this wouldn't be so bad, right? Like you could use this as like maybe like a mech simulator game that kind of tracks right. Like I could see tank game taking place on top of voxels. This is actually unreasonably fun. Like it's surprising that this is this fun. And I've lowered the draw distance enough where it's kind of smoothish, but also like because we're so close to the ground, the draw distance doesn't seem to be that bad. Like you get does anyone here like around for really early Minecraft, like not even alpha, before alpha, like infinite dev, right? Do you remember how low that draw distance was? Okay, I accidentally got lost in the walls. All right, let's dig into the code. This looks fun. Ace of Spades. I'm not familiar. I know the song, I think. Joe Voxel. Voxel is its own Joe structure. Wow. Okay. Float to fit. Why are you using floats, Joe? Still, in the year of our Lord, right now, we're using floats again. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna complain that much. Terrain pal. Oh yeah, let's see where he's loading it. But now a lot of this is like it's automatically being generated. So there's a terrain image. No, he's not doing that. What? Okay, so here's the color information. And this looks like, this does look like it loops. I think, yeah, this looks like it's continuous, like you can loop over it so you don't have anything. Here's a different color, so like you could choose a different color, make it snowy. 3. Oh, there's different options. And here's the height map. Now the height map should be monochromatic, like a grayscale representation of the elevation. And so all the dark black stuff, I believe that's just going to be water. Like your sea level. Now I want to check out the third map. It's got like a little castle and everything. Or ziggurat pyramid? Okay, how do we change that? I want to get the third one. Where are you? Map call. Okay. But we want map call 3. Oh, Joe, you're a programmer. 0 index this stuff. Alright. Let's recompile. I mean, this all feels pretty automatic. Like, the only thing that's missing is that you need to anchor your camera position to like a physical object that can react to the height. And so like you also need to be able to retrieve the height. But I believe you can with this voxel object. So we'll dig into a little bit into that, just a tiny bit. All right, let's oh yeah, let's sorry, clean and compile. I'll just think it for a second. I don't think there is. I didn't see one. Because all the buttons are mapped to like just different navigation constants for the height map. So making Forsaken Plain first player would just basically be me trying to do a different way of making scenario. So no, I don't think so. There we go. Nah, I got very specific plans for scenario and for Forsaken Plain. But like Forsaken Plain should be 2D. I mean, it doesn't have to be 2D, but I feel like it's better 2D, and it should be like. I need to come up with a concept of what I want to do for this. I think like a flight simulator where like you're having to like fly through a valley and also shoot things would be pretty neat. Now, where is that castle? Okay, let's go up in the air and let's just like draw everything. Just kill the performance. There we go. Oh, you see how it's looping? There's only supposed to be one castle, but I'm so high up and I'm drawing so much that there's two. Oh my goodness, this is a slideshow. All right, let's call back our draws a little bit. Come on. There we go. He needs to map the shoulder buttons to left-right movement. There we go. Now this is kind of the only issue with the voxel is that the only way to get voxel to really work on the Saturn is to just decimate your resolution. And so if I want to actually treat this pyramid like an actual building I can arrive to, like as a first-person character, it looks like this. And it doesn't look great. It looks better when you're up in the air. So like the voxel game engine thing, I think you just gotta like do a flight simulator. It's the only thing that makes sense. I don't recall the Star Wars demo. So, like, I think the only way to make the voxel look good is by making it so that it's, okay, I'm starting to remember a little bit of the Star Wars demo. But there's two ways to make it look fine. It is to go really, really fast, or to be far away. So, in both of those instances, that's described by a flight sim, right? Because a flight sim, you're constantly moving around. Maybe you could do like a helicopter thing or a hot air balloon thing, or you're just like floating over places. But I see the case for this being like a Star Fox-like game, where you're just kind of like flying along a path, like or a Panzer Dragoon, right? And it just kind of looks cool. And you know some of the perspective trickery on the sides of the screen from the draw calls. Because if I get a little bit too down low, a little bit too close to terrain, like the entire screen gets taken up by monochromatic portions of the draws. So this is cool, but the practicality is kind of limited to very specific kinds of games. Like I don't think I'd be able to sit down and play a first-person like game in this format for very long. Let's check it. Let's look up that Star Wars voxel demo real quick, because I believe I remember one of the shows covering it. Star Wars voxel, Sega Saturn. I don't want to like freeboot someone else's video, so I'll just look up some screenshots. So this is clearly at a much higher resolution. Here, whose video is this real quick? Oh, I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to find out whose it is. Unboxing Retro. And I saw a few others having some similar... Here, Rebel Strike. This is unlisted. Why is it unlisted? This is 5 years old, too. Here, guys. Here's an unlisted video with some footage from Star Wars Rebel Strike. Looks like it's using voxels. There we go. Pandemonium. He won't mind if I for a little bit. Just, so, like, this to me I don't know how voxely this is, but I'm seeing like actual quads being drawn. Like these look like quads. These do not look like voxels. They're slanted, right? Things are slanted. Yeah. I should like Panda's video too. Hey guys, check out Panda's video as well. So it's not quite the same thing. So voxels, let me do like, what was it like dot game pixel heroes or something for the PS3? 3D dot game heroes, right? That's what a voxel game looks like when it has like everything going for it. And that's like that, or I guess Minecraft. Why is it freaking Amazon? I just want a screenshot. All right. And even still, they're breaking a lot of rules with the way they're treating. Oh, it's literally just advertising picture. Okay, screw it. Whatever. We'll do the Amazon thing. So you see how these cubes are not cube aligned? That means those are not being rendered as voxels. But this is like the nicest a voxel game can look like. Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades game. That actually, this ain't so bad. Only caveat is, one, all the voxels are of different scale, right? Like the building. Go away, Guardian. The building voxels are clearly at a different scale than the pixel voxels. Also, the voxels on these characters don't seem to be following the same rules, so like they are cheating a little bit for the visual aesthetic, because they're at angles. They're not like revoxeling Jagex. Freaking Runes made this. It's hilarious. But I could see this looking good in this format. But also keep in mind, you're basically just kind of like, your art style is going to be reminiscent to that of Minecraft, but also this draw distance is huge for the Saturn. Okay, I'll spend a little bit extra. Okay, so like this looks a little bit more accurate. This looks like the voxels are actually being rendered like voxels. And like they're trying to re-render the diagonals with the voxels. That makes sense. That's like actual voxel stuff. This is just some plain old nonsense. So freaking someone built a dinosaur and then blew it up. Game looks fun. This looks like Roblox. Some Roblox nonsense. Point there being, it's voxels kind of trap you into some very particular design decisions, right? Both in the art aesthetic and also just like plain old gameplay. Like, you see how plain this landscape looks because of the scale of the voxels. Like, there's not much you can do there. So either you live with that, which kind of or you make it so that like there's voxels, sure, but also everything is like super well lit. The drawing distance is huge. You got fog effects, and so like that kind of cleans up a lot of the issues coming from the voxels. But on the Saturn, what we're doing here is like literally pure voxels, so it's not going to look anywhere near this good. Yeah, I think we've meandered too long. The voxel demo is part of Joe Engine now. I would love to see someone do a proper flight sim game on it. I think that's the best use of that tool. Let's compile. So there's a visual engine simulator. So I remember, Ray, you helped me with this. We did a quick little visual engine thing using your event-based stuff, or visual novel thing. And I was going to try to shove that on top of Scenario as like the text interface, like the dialogue interface. Yeah, I know this is different. Got my big bottle of Thirst Mutilator. Is this literally just Lighthouse? Did Sensigo literally just give Joe his entire game to port it into Joe Engine? Let's see, how far can we get into the game? Oh wow, he This is literally just the game, right? Because this game isn't particularly long. I think he just gave him the whole game as a sample. I mean, this still works. Something weird's going on with that chin now. All right, let's actually look at the code. I don't think I've ever actually dug into Sensibilo's code. What do we have here? We have model, control, Neptune, and main. So main is the only actual C file here. Okay, so all the code's actually in the other stuff. What? Okay. Here's his, okay, narrative here. Oh, it's actually well commented for what this is. Dialogue. This is literally if else hell. Like, it's just it's not. I mean, I don't want to, like, he made a game. He released a game, so like I can't really criticize because I haven't gotten as far as him in any of my pursuits besides like my little crappy little one-off mini games. But like, this is like the real like the Toby Fox IRL, where it's like, okay, yeah, the code is not very programmatic, so you're gonna end up having to hard code a lot of stuff to be able to do all this. I wonder where he's storing all the text. Hey, that's the thing though. Like, the important part is that the player experiences the game. So like, as long as that's happening, I don't see a text file. Oh my lord, I don't see a text file. Oh no. Oh, you know what that means. Look, and he literally bakes in his text box onto the backgrounds. Like, these are the actual background draw calls. This is what's being pushed onto VDP2. I thought this was multi-layered. I thought these were sprites on top of the background. No, this is literally what's being drawn. This is one background file. Oh no. Oh no. Don't tell me that. Well, let's look at model.h. Oh, jeez. No. No, this is not how you're supposed to make a game. Oh, wow. It works. It freaking works, but like, you're... What? The entire game's dialogue is loaded into RAM. Like, the whole thing. All of it. And not even in like in RAM in like a variable or anything like that. This is like hard coded into the game's program logic. Hey, Frogbull. No, Frogbull, you are exactly right. The important thing is that the user experience is delivered. So like the player doesn't notice that it's programmed like this. So yes, the game is released. The game exists. Therefore, success. But Jesus Christ, really? Yeah, I mean, like, it's you. When I was digging into Baroque, Baroque basically had all of the dialogue, like the entire thing, all of it, loaded into low work RAM. Which, okay, fine. If you're not using it for anything else, the game is not very dialogue heavy. Like, it's got a few thousand lines of text. Sure, fine. Shove it in there. Whatever. Who cares? But at the very minimum, they had a text file that they loaded into that RAM. So, like, it wasn't literally strongly hard-coded strings in the binary. It was like they loaded up text into the RAM, and then they just pointed the text parser into an address in RAM to deliver said text. And it was drawn, like, based off of that, but this is insane. Like this is like the apotheosis of just focus on making the game. Yeah, he made the damn. This header file is 3,300 lines long. Okay. ReyeMe wants to share something as well. Let's check it out. Yep, basically the same thing. Like, it's basically the same kind of setup. Like, you have your title. You basically just draw calls and a little bit of logic. I mean, you're not making a visual novel, so you only got down to like 500 lines as opposed to 3,300. Look, since ago, if you watch this VOD after the stream, I'm sorry. You made a game. It was enjoyable. People like your games. Keep on the good work. I'm just like at some point, consider spending the time making a .txt parser and try to like load things in and out of low work RAM. You have the tools available to you. They're there. They're right there. There's file system. File system lets you do that. So just on the next game, on the sequel to like Red Moon 3 or whatever, I forget which one you're on. Just on like Red Moon 3, just please use the file system, please. Ray, you cannot be serious. Like, you're filling up. So you're doing the same thing he is, but you're filling up. Like, if you had text in the lower RAM, you'd have a megabyte of text, which is like a lot of text, like a lot. But here, when you just make it a hard-coded print command, you're shoving it all into your binary. And your binary, I don't know what the limit on a binary that Saturn can run. I imagine it's like a meg, but that's sharing space with all of your game logic. Yeah, I know exactly. But like, you're not taking up VRAM. You're taking up freaking like whatever the thing the binary fits in. I think high work RAM, cache, whatever. That's where that lives. Yeah. So if you need 400K for Malik, that means 600K, and like probably like 400K out of that 600K is like this crap. I don't know. That's probably exaggeration. Oh, and the Cinepack too. I mean, it shouldn't leak. Leaks are bad. You should load an entire novel into the... No, here's the thing, though. So, Frogbull, that wouldn't help if you're not doing the thing that I'm telling Sansagolo and Ray to do, which is, like, text bars. Because the 4 megabyte RAM cartridge is not where your binary goes, and these print commands are in the binary. All right, let's check it out. Real quick. We're getting so far off topic, but, like... Yeah, you've been at this for a little bit, haven't you? Yeah, I don't know how to like size out, but like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Lots of C files. Okay, I want to go out on a high note. Let's do some. Okay, chat, vote on like the next sample that looks like it's relatively new. I see some GoRad shading. I think Shooter. I don't know if that. No, Shooters is a shoot 'em up thing. That's not quite it. Oh, let's check out rendered image. Sure. Apologies again to Sansagolo. I didn't want to be mean to you. I just like I don't want to denigrate your work. You did good work. It's scary to me that that there's that much of your binary is just taken up by straight up text. Which, like, yes, the focus of your game is text, but like you could make it so that you have no functional limit on your text. What is going on? So, Okay. If I'm interpreting what's going on here, right? Like, you have an image, yeah, sure, and then you have some rotating cube that you put somewhere off screen, or you're not rendering or whatever. The image is being applied to the face of the cube, but then you draw it on screen like this. But I don't get what's going on here. Like, why does it look so weird? Is this intentional behavior? Because it looks like... Okay, so each one of these pictures is like a rendering of a cube. So like, you're projecting the 3D cube's visual down onto a 2D image, and then shoving it onto what? Like another cube? Okay, yeah, cube to texture. Honestly, Ray, I think the visual would make more sense if you weren't having the second layer of cube animation on top of it. Like, if you render the cube to texture and just gave yourself one texture display that you had the freedom to, like, move around or rotate or something to show that it is just a texture and not an actual cube, then I think it would make the point. No, I get that. What I'm saying is, use one texture, use the controller to rotate it manually so the user can, like, explore, oh yeah, that's just a rendering of a cube. And, like, some buttons, to me, it's confusing. It's confusing to look at. Like, I'm reading it and I kind of, like, parse out what's going on. It's just, it is a nice demo. It's confusing to me. So what I would say is, like, obviously the key point is that you're rendering to a texture, right? And so I would, to the one texture, have that render happen, and then you'd have split your controller in half. One half of your controller, like the D-pad, controls like the rotation state of the off-screen cube, and then the buttons allow you to, like, move around on the cube that you see, or the texture that you see. Honestly, I think it would make more sense to me if I looked at the code, because the code would be more clear about what's going on, and visually it is a little bit disorienting. No, that's fine. I mean, the point is you did the off-screen rendering. That's the whole thing. Oh, there's a lot of functions in here, aren't there? Let's try to skip to the part where you, like, actually do the clear frame buffer. Oh, is that what you're calling it? The texture of the frame buffer? Yeah, because if you don't clear the frame buffer, you're going to end up having, like, the transparent parts of the things that didn't get projected down, like the empty space, would just be parts of the previous frame. Draw outside cube. Okay, so outside, I guess, is what you mean by off-screen. So that's the draw command, but then where's the projection? Create inside cube. Okay. So on screen. Where do you do anything? Am I missing a header file? I don't see where any of the code is to actually, like, do the rendering. Interesting. So you create the cube. Yeah, I was looking for some projection matrices or something, you know? Create cube, and then, so the drawing the outside cube, Joe 3D draw array. Okay, so you're just drawing, but you're drawing somewhere. Create inside cube. Cube inside quads. Set texture. 0. Okay, so now we need to find out where you put the 0 texture. Clear frame buffer. Demo logic. Demo draw. Line 62 does magic. Okay, let's look at line 62. frame buffer. You know what? I take back my words. This is less clear than the visuals. So we have a frame buffer. Get frame buffer v2025.1. This will fetch it. Oh, it's literally just telling me that comment above it. This is not needed if you're ready. Whatever. Okay, graphical error. Blah, blah. Right. You're DMAing. What are you DMAing? Okay, so actually, Ray, I don't think you're describing this correctly. I don't think you're drawing off screen. I think you're drawing on screen explicitly, copying that information into RAM, wiping the screen, and then drawing it the way you want afterward within the same frame. Because where are you copying this from? Where is the frame buffer? Yeah, but what location is that? No, I get that you're copying it to HMark RAM. Where are you copying it from? Like, where is that frame buffer? Like, you just do a draw command. That draw command is sending it to like some sort of. Okay, yeah, fine. You put it beyond 320 pixels. So like the. Okay. But then the frame buffer by itself. So v2025.1 has a frame buffer of what size? Okay. So the only reason this works is because you're using a standard resolution. If you tried to make a 512/56 game, this technique is no longer off screen. It's just there. But I don't think you need to draw. I don't think you need to draw off screen to do the same thing. I think that's beside the point. I think you're doing it off screen because it makes sense to prevent having to see anything, so that you don't have to wipe it after you render it. But I think what you can do. I don't think you had to draw it off screen. I think you could have drawn it on screen, DMA it, clear the frame buffer, like wipe it, like just like you do, but on screen, and then do the same draw that you did before, and I think it would have worked exactly the same way. So like here, I'll try to visualize it. So is it one frame behind then? Like, is the animation one frame behind what's already there? Like, here, let's do, here's v blank 0, v blank 1, v blank 2, okay? And then here's our screen. Here's the screen, here's the screen, here's the screen. And now you're drawing your cube, like, here's your cube. Here's your cube. Red. And here's the cube. Let's just do blue. And so is the process there. So I believe this is the process, right? Right. So you draw on frame 0, you draw this, and then you copy it over. You have to wait for v-blank, so you're already behind a frame. Now it's here. And you prepare the next one by wiping the previous one, do that, blah, 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 blah. So, no, you can't do it while it's on screen because you need to wait for v-blank to copy before you can wipe, because then you would see it. But if you were at 30, if you were locked to 30 frames or less, then you could probably do it the way I'm talking about if you wanted to do the full resolution. But at that point, you're kind of like straining the limits of this example, so you wouldn't want to do it that way anyway. Okay. This was an interesting example. The point there being is that we're used to a, let's see. Okay, so if you were like super hyper optimized, you could figure out a way to do it within the same frame by just checking for some sort of interrupt flag or whatever, and you'd still maybe manage to do this. And the way I could see this done, what you would really want this for is a rear view mirror, right? Like, let me look up a Need for Speed screenshot. Need for Speed 1. I think 1 had it. No, I want the visual from inside the car. There. Okay, well, let me open up the image. So the way you would use this functionality. Yeah. And I think it took me a second to get to how you would use this usefully, right? You render your game environment one frame backwards, right? For your rear view mirror. So you can render, and it doesn't even have to be exactly backwards. It can be at whatever angle you want. So you can have it at a slanted mirror and have it still work. So you could have a little functionality where you tilt this mirror. Okay, yeah, you can set up a window or whatever. Yeah, I get that. No, I get that. But like, if you wanted, maybe a mirror is a bad example. Maybe you wanna do like take a picture, right? So let's say you had, let me do game selfie. I wonder if this is a functionality someone's had. Nope, that is not. Okay. So let's say you're in the game and you have some function where you take a picture and then you want to save that picture and then put it onto a little like picture frame inside the game. And so you take your selfie, you take a picture, and that's a rendering. You DMA it, and then you use that as a texture for like a little portrait. And so like you could do like a little highlight, so like best in game, play the game or whatever, with like, oh, here's what you look like when you're running away from that explosion. Screenshot. Okay, end of round summary of the game. Here's a screenshot of what happened. It was fun. No, I mean, I'm not talking about motion blur. Like, okay, yeah, we could look at the motion blur for just a second, but what I'm talking about is like saving a screenshot of what happens in the game to later display inside the game for narrative purpose. Demo blur. We can double check real quick. Bullet backup. No, it's not in. Okay, so basically what's going on here is you're doing that off-screen render, and then you're saving it, but then you're just drawing in the same location where it was, but with half transparency, so it looks like motion blur. It's just fun. All right, let's see. One more, and I think we're done for now. Right? Let's do line. Is line scroll new, or I think that might be old. Let's do VDP2 map, because I was complaining about that earlier, right? Let's see if Joe can make a liar out of me. Whoa, okay. I don't know if this is Mednafen or if this is Joe Engine, but yeah, it's just a bit, just broken just a little bit. I think let's go to a different demo. I don't want to end on a low note. But if it was working properly, what the heck is software rendering? If it was working properly, it would be a nice way to have like game map files in the game. Which, once again, if you go back to that map demo we did near earlier on in the stream, I think that would be the way you want to go about doing that. So is he gonna do like Doom? Okay. I'm not really sure what this is meant to be displaying or portraying or whatever. Like, it's rendering in software, but like, when I think of software rendering, I think of like, I'd want to see like a raycast, right? Like, okay, yeah, this is normal, right? It's a right-handed system with screen space that translates to 3D space. Copy the rendering buffer into v2025.1 use DMA. Of course, of course. You don't need to redraw everything at every frame, but it's just a demo. Into VDP2 VRAM. Of course. Okay, so he's literally just like... Yeah, okay, I get it. He's exactly what it says on the tin. He's rendering in software some image that he's putting, I assume, in higher RAM, and then DMA it over to where it needs to go. I mean, it's not visually impressive because like he's demonstrating a technique for playing with the Saturn hardware. We already did render to image. What's new? What's different? Video. Let's end on video. Let's do some video. Rerunning or what? Oh man. Oh, come on. Why gotta be that way? Just run. Is something going on that's just like broken or something? Let's see. Run with Mednafen. Well, I mean, underscore would be nice. Please compile first. It's compiled! What more do you want? Yeah, maybe. Let's check. Please compile if exist. SL off queue. Joe. Silly Joe. You're compiling to game, not SL. Come on. So silly. There we go. All right, that's another thing for the pull request list. That's it? Oh, can I start it again? Does a button restart the... No, I gotta start the... Okay. Let's try again. At least let me restart the video. Setacore. We're using 71% of our dynamic memory just playing that. Well, it's probably streamed, so it's whatever. I wonder if Media Player Classic can handle... Yep. Nice. All right. So Joe Engine has Cinepack capabilities now. If only I knew how to properly render to it. I know I went through Trekkie's stream to try to do Cinepack the way he does it, but for some reason when I went through it, I couldn't get it to work right. But I'm sure Joe has instructions inside the menu.c somewhere. Okay, there's that. FMPEG. Oh, there we go. Simple as can be. If you don't know what you're doing, just do this. Because I believe what Trekkies was doing was like going into the old map VM and using the original Sega toolset or whatever, or maybe he was using his new Cinepack encoder tools that he submitted for utilities a while ago. Oh, really? It doesn't work? How did he make the file? Okay, do you know the correct one? Is it like a simple mistake, or is it like it just won't work? All right, everyone, go look up some of I'm sure Trekkies has a VOD somewhere on YouTube. For yeah, let's go find that. I think I might be in that one, but when I was doing it didn't work. I don't know. We'll find out. Really? Trekkies Unite 118 Cinepack. Huh. Oh, everyone go check out Raccoon's Hideout with Steamed Hands, but it's playing on Cinepack on Saturn. So he managed to figure it out. Yeah, none of this is relevant. Thank you, YouTube Search, for being ever so useful. Doesn't Trekkies Unite have his own... There we go. He's got some tech demos going on, but what's the... Let's try by popular. Well... I don't think we're going to find it. It's actually got a lot of stuff from like 11 years ago. Wow. It's been at this for a minute. Anyway. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Yeah, it's on SX. Let's look real quick on SX before we end stream. Let's go to... Oh, we got... I forgot. I have to write the game of the month for this month. I totally forgot to do it. So I will look forward to that on Sega Extreme and Shiro as well. Hopefully this weekend. Oh, this is probably not the best way of doing this. Let's search for, Cinepack. Test player, film tools. How-to guide. There we go. Let's drop this link in chat. See if it works with the Joe Engine playback as well. So here appears to be the how-to for... Okay, so you got to use Virtual Dub. And now we're in the Macintosh VM. Oh boy. I'm certain I remember him doing something where like he abstracted away, well, not abstract, like he recreated the necessary tools to do this in a modern operating system with like some sort of Java program. Well, he hasn't done it yet? I thought he already did it. Anyway, geez, 2019, this was back when I was first starting out too. Alright, maybe we'll see it this year if we haven't seen it already. I need to double check. I have a terrible memory for this kind of stuff. Yeah, so once again, let's just go ahead and wrap up stream. Thank you everyone for coming on. Obviously, you know, I couldn't get through everything, but a lot of the stuff was older. We saw a lot of cool new stuff. I especially like the voxel things. You know, there's plenty of tools there for you to make your own game. Play around with it. Obviously, you know, bone up a little bit on your mathematics because you might need that for collision and stuff. And I would hope that everyone that was on stream today has something to submit for April 11th for the game development competition, which will then be scored, and then we'll have the live stream for the announcement on May 11th, which I believe is the American anniversary for the Sega Saturn, if I recall correctly. So that will be the 30th anniversary of the Sega Saturn in America, presumably. Or maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. I have to go back and look. Maybe it's the UK one. I forget. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Go check out Joe Engine, new release on GitHub. Link should be somewhere in the chat log and somewhere in the VOD when this goes up on the VOD. And I hope to see you for the game competition. So normally this is where I say goodnight, everyone, but it is nearly 3 p.m. for me. So, good afternoon.